Hi, this is a video tutorial on how to do multiple choice corrections if you've been assigned them by your instructor. First of all, I want to say that multiple choice corrections are not necessarily fun to do, and they involve a fair amount of work. But they're also going to help you improve a lot in your reading comprehension, and they're going to help you improve your test scores that have reading passages and multiple choice questions. So it will really help you in your future. It's also meant to help prevent just filling in bubbles, because the more questions you get correct, the more you don't have to answer in your multiple choice corrections. And so it's helping you think through the passage as you're reading. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a multiple choice assessment of some sort, and then after you're finished with it, you're going to make corrections on only the questions that you got incorrect. You don't need to do this for questions that you did get correct. You also need to, after you take the assessment, get a list of the actual answers to the test before you make your multiple choice corrections. And I'm going to have us work with a passage about a pharmacist who's retired, and it talks about him and his retirement. So we're just using this as a sample passage to kind of show you how this chart works. And every question is going to be different that you do this with, but I'm going to give you two examples that hopefully help you with this kind of assignment. So here's our passage and our questions, and I'm going to scroll down to our questions because the first one we're going to work on is question 52, which is right here. And the question is, the third paragraph reveals that Henry often feels, and our choices are angry, homesick, jealous, worried, and skeptical. And I know that the correct answer is D, worried. Okay, so that's the correct answer, I know that. But I need to figure out why. Why is worried the correct answer? So I'm going to look at this passage. It starts here. Inwardly, he suffered the quiet trepidations of a man who had witnessed twice in childhood the nervous breakdown of a mother who had otherwise cared for him with stridency. If I don't know what any of these words mean, and there's a couple words here that really strike me as challenging. Trepidations, which actually mean kind of nervousness and worry. And stridency, which means like confidence and doing things with care. So I might look those words up to help me understand what's going on in the passage, because you now can access all the information you want to that you wouldn't necessarily do as you're taking a test. And then it talks about his customers and how he handled his customers and how he would try to rectify things quickly. I might not know what rectify means, but that means to fix things quickly. He'd always want to fix things for his customers. And then it talks about Mrs. Granger, who worked for him, and how he was often worried that she was going to yell at the customers, so he had to watch for her. But then it also talks about at the very end that she died in her sleep one night, and that astonished him and left him feeling responsible, as though he had missed, working alongside her for years, whatever symptoms might have shown itself that he, handling his pills and syrup and syringe, could have fixed. So at the very end, we hear that he feels guilt over not being able to prevent her death. So when I go back to my answer choices here, he's not angry in this paragraph. He's not homesick. He doesn't seem jealous. Skeptical might be a little more challenging to rule out, but we know the correct answer is worried. So I have to figure out why he's worried here in this passage. So I'm going to go back to my chart here, and this is what I put down for my answer. Okay, the D is the correct, and so what I'm going to do next is explain why D is the correct answer. So D is the correct answer because he shows concern or worry for dealing with customer complaints, and worry for how Mrs. Granger will respond to customers, and also worry for somehow being responsible for missing clues about Mrs. Granger's ill health. So I'm just listing all the ways in which this shows worry. Why is worry the correct answer? Well, because of these. Now, if you find it difficult to argue why the correct answer is correct, another option that you could do is just explain why all the incorrect answers are incorrect. So that might be a way of handling a question as well, depending on what the question is, that might help you out. And then you need to provide text evidence to support your answer. So in this case, I used two really short quotations here. He suffered the quiet trepidations of a man. So already that word trepidations is showing that he has worry. And again, I had to look that up to understand that, but I can do that now. And at the very end of the paragraph, left him with some feeling of responsibility for Mrs. Granger's death. So I have some text evidence here to support this idea of worry. Okay, I want to give one more example here. Okay, let me switch over to this.